Chosen one. A community of people are talking about you, and your ex just heard they dropped the ball in the worst way possible. Right now, entire circles are buzzing with your name, not out of gossip, but out of awe. The elders, the friends, the silent observers, they're all saying the same thing. You had the real one, and you blew it. That truth is echoing louder than any apology could. While they played games, you healed. While they performed for attention, you evolved. Now the collective sees the truth clearly. You were never the one who lost. You were the prize, and your absence is their awakening. What's coming next will rewrite the entire story. Your ex is sitting somewhere right now, refusing to accept reality. Your ex is sitting somewhere right now, refusing to accept reality. There's still this belief that partnership exists, or at least an opportunity to become your partner again. That's the energy being carried. Like the relationship never actually ended, like you're just on a break, and eventually things will reset back to how everything was. But here's what's not known yet. What's about to be discovered through multiple sources. The door isn't just closed, it's locked, and you threw away the key a long time ago. What makes this situation so powerful is how the information is reaching your exec. It's not coming from you directly. You're not out here talking or trying to create jealousy or posting things to get attention. You're living your life authentically, and that authentic living is so loud that people can't help but notice. The community isn't gossiping for entertainment. People are genuinely amazed at your transformation, and that amazement is traveling through conversations your ex can't avoid. Your ex is at a family gathering, maybe a holiday meal or a casual visit, and someone brings you up naturally, not to cause hurt, but because you genuinely came to mind. You know, I saw them the other day. They look completely different, lighter, happier, like a weight has been lifted, and your ex has to sit there and take it. There's nodding and smiling while internally everything is crumbling, because the assumption was being the only one who knew the real you. The assumption was your transformation somehow still connected to the old relationship. Or maybe your ex is at a community event, a place of worship, a neighborhood gathering, a mutual friends celebration, and the elders are there. These are people who've seen relationships come and go, who've watched generations grow up and make choices, and these elders have seen what happened between you two. Your ex taking you for granted was witnessed. How you carried that relationship on your back was observed, and now you're thriving without that weight is being celebrated. One of them pulls your ex aside, not in a mean way, in that way that elders do when speaking truth that stings but comes from genuine care. You know, I've been thinking about you and them. That was a good person. Real love was there, and I see now what existed. Most people spend their whole lives looking for what was sitting right in front of you, and letting it go happened anyway. Your ex tries to deflect, tries to explain that work is being done, that things are getting better, that maybe there's still a chance. But the elder just shakes their head. Some doors close for a reason, and moving on has happened. Real moving on. Someone or multiple people have pushed reality in the face so hard, ignoring it is no longer possible. The truth landed. You've moved on. You've healed. You've closed out a major cycle when it comes to trauma from your past, specifically trauma from partners who weren't good to you. Partners who didn't respect boundaries because you didn't have any back then. But you do now, and that's the part destroying everything. The people talking aren't your friends who are just being loyal. These are neutral parties, people who have no reason to take sides, people who are simply observing reality and commenting on what's visible. Your ex can't dismiss this as bias. Writing it off as people being against them won't work. These are objective observers saying the same thing from different angles. You're doing better without the past relationship. You've healed in ways that weren't expected. You've moved forward while being stuck in the past is obvious elsewhere. There's a specific kind of pain that comes from hearing the truth from people whose opinions can't be easily discounted. When your best friend tells you that messing up happened, convincing yourself nobody understands becomes possible. When a stranger says it, ignoring them works because the full story isn't known. But when the people who raised you, who've known you your whole life, who've seen you in every version of yourself, when those people look directly at you and say you dropped the ball, there's nowhere to hide from that truth. Your ex is experiencing that right now. And it's not just one conversation. Multiple conversations are happening in different spaces with different people, all leading to the same conclusion. The community has reached consensus, and that consensus is being delivered whether anyone wants to hear it or not. There's something about intoxication here, something about distorted views and overindulgence, but it's in reverse, meaning there's a lack of balance in trying to search for balance. Center was lost because everything was being done for the wrong reasons. Stopping drinking or stopping sleeping around or stopping whatever the vice was happened not because freedom was desired, but because sobriety seemed like the price of admission back into your life. And now an important ending is here. A new beginning is coming, but not the new beginning that was wanted. This is your new beginning, and watching it unfold from the outside is about to happen. Something has been shown to your ex about how well you're doing, maybe through social media, maybe through mutual connections. Maybe the elders themselves delivered the news directly, but seeing it is happening now. Your life is sweet, you're thriving, you're not just surviving without the past, you're flourishing in ways that were never possible when carrying that chaos, and it's triggering something deep, envy. There's jealousy about how you've been able to heal. Bitterness exists about the fact that you overcame the relationship while being stuck in the past continues. This person may genuinely be frozen in time, still living in the moment when access to you existed, still replaying conversations, still checking your profiles, still hoping for a sign that you miss what was, but you don't, and that's what's eating everything alive. If you recognized yourself in this message, hype this video to guide other chosen ones to this truth. You're showing up differently in spaces. Your energy has changed. People who haven't seen you in a while are doing double takes because the shift is that visible. You're not carrying that heaviness anymore. That tension that used to live in your shoulders is gone. The worry that used to cloud your eyes has lifted. You laugh differently now, easier, more genuine, like you're not constantly monitoring yourself or walking on eggshells, and people are commenting on it. I ran into them last week and I barely recognized them at first, not because they look different physically, but because of how they carry themselves now, so at peace, so settled in who they are. I remember how stressed they always seemed during that relationship, always trying to fix something or manage some crisis, but now, free is the only word for it. These observations are making their way back to your ex through the grapevine, and each one is confirmation of what's terrifying to face. You're better without the past. Think about when people try to stop addictive behaviors, smoking, gambling, overeating, whatever it is. Sometimes doing it as a competition with a friend happens. Who can go the longest? Who has more willpower? And competition helps for a while, but when doing it isn't for yourself, waiting to revert back is the only reality. Counting down until permission to return to the old pattern is all that exists. That's exactly what your ex did. Healing wasn't for self. Healing was for you. Meanwhile, you were healing for yourself and no one else. You did the real work. You addressed the actual wounds. You built genuine boundaries. And now you're reaping the harvest of that authentic transformation. The community is noticing. The elders are commenting. And your ex is hearing every word of it. Real mess up happened. That person was good. Being with them forever would have happened if cards had been played right. Can you imagine hearing that from respected voices in your life, from your own family members, from people whose opinions actually matter? Wanting to hear it doesn't exist. Fingers are going in ears. But the truth keeps coming from every direction. You dropped the ball, you had something real, and now it's gone. What particularly devastating is the regret that comes with elder wisdom, because elders don't just see the present moment. Patterns are visible. How choices made now ripple into the future is clear, and your ex is being told what's visible ahead. In years to come, looking back at this moment will bring realization of what was lost. Watching them build a beautiful life with someone who appreciates them will happen. Seeing them thrive in ways never imagined will be reality. And remembering that the opportunity to be part of that existed will haunt everything. But choosing differently happened anyway. That's the kind of wisdom that haunts you. Because your ex knows the elders are right. Watching it happen to others has been witnessed. People in the community making similar mistakes and living with regret for decades has been observed, and now being told that same path is being walked is the message. The community has seen this play out before. Someone has a good partner. Taking them for granted happens. Chasing momentary satisfaction becomes priority. Convincing yourself the grass is greener elsewhere takes hold. And by the time realization of what existed hits, it's too late. The good partner has moved on, has healed, has found someone who values them, and the person who dropped the ball is left with nothing but regret and cautionary tale status. Your ex is becoming that cautionary tale right now, and feeling it is real. How the community's perception is shifting can be felt. No longer seen as the person who got away from a bad situation, now being seen as the person who fumbled a blessing, and that shift in how people perceive is forcing confrontation with self-perception. Your ex is dealing with something heavy right now. Depression is coming through strongly. Maybe bouts of melancholy have always existed. Maybe struggling with mental health has been ongoing. But right now going through the motions of healing rather than actually healing is the reality. Flip-flopping all over the place is happening. The actual issue wasn't being addressed, just putting band-aids on deep wounds. And there's caution here. Something told about you has thrown everything back into darkness. Information that made realization happen about how far you've actually moved on, how completely letting go occurred, how thoroughly that chapter closed, and spiraling was the result. But here's the real issue. Being stuck in the field is the current state, meaning frozen is the position. Wanting to hear about endings and new beginnings doesn't exist. Accepting that you've moved on isn't happening. Literally putting fingers in ears and going, "I don't want to hear it," is the response. Like a child refusing to accept what's right in front of them. There's addiction showing up here too. Issues with intimacy addiction could have existed, with substances, with filling the void through external means, and really not wanting to hear that it's over is the energy. Fighting for what seems like love has been happening, or what gets called love, but so much toxic energy exists in that fight. It's not coming from a healthy place. Coming from desperation and possession is the truth. Your ex may find out that there's someone new coming toward you, that you're dating, that getting back out there is happening, that planning and setting dates with someone who actually values you is your reality. And this information is going to destroy everything, because the entire time performing the healing journey continued, the assumption was you were waiting. The thought was, if just holding out long enough happened, you'd be there when finally getting it together occurred. But you weren't waiting, you were living. There's something about keys on a ring here, many options, decisions, one-night stands. Your ex may have stopped sleeping around because impressions seemed important. Monogamy in your absence seemed like proof of something, but it was all performance, all transaction. And now realizing the transaction isn't being accepted is hitting hard. What's interesting here is how your ex thought changing behaviors without changing core would be enough. The thinking was, if just stopping the things you objected to happened, you'd come back. But why those things were happening in the first place never got addressed. The void being filled never got examined. The wounds driving choices never got looked at. Just putting a lid on the behaviors and calling it healing was the approach. Meanwhile, you were doing completely different work. You weren't just changing what you did. Transforming who you are was the mission. Addressing the core wounds that made you accept less than you deserved in the first place was the focus. Building genuine self-worth instead of just performing confidence was the goal. Creating real boundaries instead of just talking about them was the action. And the community can see the difference. Your changes being deep and lasting is visible, while shallow and conditional changes are obvious elsewhere. Seduction energy is coming through, attraction, flirting, dating, hooking up, third-party interference, jealousy about you being able to heal and move on exists. Just move on. While being stuck in quicksand is one reality, you're dancing in freedom, and driving everything absolutely insane is happening. Your ex wants to be friends with you again. That's what the coffee cup represents. Meeting, conversing, savoring the moment, friendship. Access to you in any form possible is what's desired. Hearing that you've moved on isn't wanted. Complete denial exists, but fully knowing the truth is also real. Awareness lives, but acceptance doesn't. This desire for friendship is particularly telling, because it's not coming from a genuine place of wanting your well-being. Coming from a desperate need to maintain some form of connection is the truth. The hope is that if getting you to agree to friendship happens, slowly working back into your life becomes possible. That casual coffee can turn into regular hangouts. Regular hangouts can turn into emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy can turn into physical connection. And before you know it, being back in your life in the exact same dynamic that didn't work before becomes reality. But you can see that game now, chosen one. You can see the strategy behind the "let's just be friends" conversation. Understanding that friendship requires mutual respect, healthy boundaries, and genuine care for each other's growth is clear to you. And your ex hasn't demonstrated any of those things. Possession has been demonstrated. Control, manipulation, the desire to keep you accessible for comfort regardless of what's healthy for you. This could have been your soulmate. But remember, we have more than one soulmate. And sometimes soulmates come into our lives not to stay forever, but to teach us what we need to learn. There was a soul contract with this person, an agreement made before you both incarnated. Experiencing something together was meant to happen. Learning something, growing from something, and you completed it. You finished your side of the contract. You learned what you needed to learn. You extracted the wisdom. You applied it. You transformed because of it. And now you've moved on to the next chapter. But completion hasn't happened on the other side. What was supposed to be learned during relationship with you didn't get absorbed. Too busy performing instead of receiving. Too busy protecting ego instead of opening to the lessons. And now not wanting to let go exists, because learning what came here to be learned hasn't happened. That's why being stuck is the current state. That's why reaching back keeps happening. That's why moving forward isn't occurring. The contract on your end is complete, but on the other end, unfinished business remains, and that's not your responsibility to fix. This person is a risky lover. That's coming through clearly. Putting self at risk in ways not being addressed may have happened. Unprotected encounters, dangerous situations, ignoring warning signs about health. There's something about being sick or potentially sick that's not getting dealt with. An infection or disease being ignored because wanting to face it doesn't exist might be real. When you left, you took something with you, not a physical thing. You took your energy, your presence, your love, the way you filled empty spaces. And feeling hollowed out now is the experience, like being emptied of something essential. Feeling like the reason depression exists is because not being with you is the situation. Rather than looking at personal mental health, rather than addressing personal core wounds, blaming emptiness on your absence is happening. But the void was there before you, chosen one. Trying to fill it has been a whole life endeavor, with substances, with people, with achievements, with anything that would make wholeness feel possible for a moment, and you were the most positive thing ever tried to fill it with. Out of everything used to numb, you actually had substance, you actually offered something real, and now that you're gone, feeling the void more than ever is the reality. Now let me put you onto something real, Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition, and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. There's a family breaking up. A family unit that's dysfunctional is showing up. Either your ex is in another relationship now and it's dead, a marriage with no love, a situationship that's hollow, or the family of origin is falling apart, but no real connection exists, no genuine love, just people existing in the same space, and betrayal is here, being stabbed repeatedly, but not betrayal from you, betrayal from self. Every choice made is stabbing now. Every time temporary satisfaction got chosen over real growth, every time you got taken for granted, every time ego got prioritized over the relationship, it's all coming back. Another relationship may exist. They may be in a relationship that feels like death, or comparing everyone to you and everyone falling short is happening. That's the curse of losing someone who genuinely loved you. Everyone after becomes a painful reminder of what got destroyed. This comparison trap your ex is in is particularly brutal because every new person met, every date that happens, every connection attempted gets measured against what existed with you, and nothing measures up. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. You showed up authentically. You loved with genuine care. You supported through struggles. You saw potential even when self-perception was blind. And now being out here meeting people who don't have that history is the reality, who don't have that depth of care, who aren't willing to carry anyone through a mess. Your ex is learning something painful. The unconditional love and support you offered, that's not standard. That's not what most people give, especially not to someone who doesn't reciprocate it. Your ex took your extraordinary love and treated it like it was ordinary. The thought was everyone would love like that. The belief was finding that anywhere was possible, but discovering that what you gave was rare is happening now, and throwing it away like it was common is the regret. The community is watching this play out too. Seeing your ex go from person to person, looking for what existed with you, is observable, and people are commenting on it. Never going to find what's being looked for will be the outcome, because someone to fill the role you played is the search. But you played that role because genuine care existed. These new people don't have that foundation, and giving what you gave just because wanting it is the desire won't happen. This person wants to talk to you about something awful that's happening right now. Your support is desired. Because you were always supportive, you always took care of everything, you always listened, and it's really hitting hard now. Having a good life with you could have been reality, a real partnership, someone who would have stood by through everything, and throwing it away happened. Heartbreak is showing up, choosing emotions over logic. Gutted is the state, absolutely gutted, and speaking to a father figure or grandparent or parental role model about it is happening. And these authority figures are confirming what's not wanted to be heard. Real mess up with that person happened. These conversations with parental figures or mentors are particularly devastating because these are people whose approval has always been sought. These are people whose opinions shaped who your ex became, and now those same people are expressing disappointment, not in a harsh way necessarily, but in that way that cuts deeper than anger. That quiet disappointment that says better was expected from you, better than this was taught. Valuing good people is what you were raised to do, and that didn't happen. That kind of conversation changes something in you. When someone you respect, someone you look up to, tells you that failing to live up to expectations happened, shaking it off isn't easy. Your ex is carrying that now, that weight of disappointing the people who believed. That shame of being told by personal mentors that messing up occurred, and arguing with it isn't possible because deep down, knowing it's true exists. Your ex is in a desperate state right now. Hearing from everyone that the ball got dropped is happening. Watching you thrive is reality. Feeling the void more than ever exists. And desperate people do desperate things. Depression, anxiety, and worry that someone is against you is coming through. There's someone trying to come between you and something you want. A new opportunity, a new relationship, a new beginning, and your ex may try to sabotage it. Not wanting to let you go exists. So trying to keep you in the old timeline through interference is the plan. A new job or career is on the horizon for you, and sabotage attempts may happen. Reaching out to your employer might occur. Spreading information that damages your reputation could be the move. Sending someone to mess with your opportunities is possible. This is very selfish energy, but coming from desperation is the source. Knowing loss has occurred is real. But if having you isn't possible, at least controlling your circumstances enough to keep you accessible is the desire. Take care. Enemies are working against you. A specific time period is the window to watch. Something will happen that you need to be ready for. Sending someone may occur. A friend of your ex, someone who pretends to be neutral but is actually gathering information or creating chaos. Dealings with another person are coming through strongly. This is a time to act, to be strategic, to protect what you've built. Temptation will test you during this period. Your ex may reach out looking different, sounding different, claiming the work has finally been done. Coming with apologies that sound real might happen, but remember the pattern. Performing, not transforming, is the truth. Your ex kind of wants to tell you that working on self is happening, that addressing addictions is occurring. If you just wait, sorting things out can happen. When telling or having told in the past that interest doesn't exist, tactics change. Not wanting to hear no is real. Doing anything possible to keep you in the old timeline is the drive, because your presence makes emptiness bearable, but you're not responsible for making someone else's void feel less empty. That's not love, that's codependency, that's emotional vampirism. And you've grown past that. Sending someone to mess up your career may happen. Interfering with job opportunities could occur. Creating problems that keep you stuck where being reached is still possible might be the plan. This is spiritual warfare, chosen one. When stepping into your destiny begins, opposition shows up, not to stop you, but to test if you're really ready for what's coming. Temptation will test you. A new job and career opportunity will arrive, and there will be energy trying to take it from you. Someone your ex sent, or your ex themselves, but you'll see it coming now, because the universe warned you. Sabotage attempts aren't just possible, planning is actively happening. Your ex is not accepting the reality that the community has confirmed. The elders spoke truth that got rejected. And now interference in your new opportunities is being calculated, not from a place of love, but from a place of control, of possession, of not being able to handle watching you thrive independently. But here's what your ex doesn't realize. Every attempt to interfere is going to backfire. Every move made to sabotage your progress is going to expose the true character being hidden. Every manipulation attempted is going to reveal to even more people what you already knew, that leaving was the right choice, that the relationship was toxic, that freedom is your birthright. This is a temporary situation for your ex, Plieran. Time will dull the pain. Eventually getting over you will happen, not through real healing, but through finding another distraction, another person to fill the void temporarily, another substance to numb with. And the cycle will continue, but for you, peace and harmony are coming. Being told that the ball got dropped is happening, but moving forward regardless is your path. Not wanting to just get over the situation exists. Wanting to transform from it is your truth. And you did. You extracted every lesson. You built new boundaries, claimed your power back. Dealings with older mentors coming through suggests wise guidance is entering your life, mature energy that will guide you through the challenging time period, that will help you see the traps before stepping in them, that will remind you of your worth when temptation shows up looking appealing. Misunderstandings will arise, communications will get twisted, but you'll have clarity, you'll see through the fog, you'll recognize performance versus authenticity, and you'll make decisions from your healed place, not your wounded place. While your ex was performing healing, you were building a completely new life. While going through motions to impress an audience was happening elsewhere, you were doing deep internal work that no one could see. While trying to fix enough to win you back was the focus for someone else, you were transforming into someone who doesn't need to be won. You're choosing yourself, you're prioritizing yourself, you're protecting yourself, and now you're in harvest season. The career opportunities are real. The new connections are genuine. The peace you feel isn't temporary. It's the result of authentic transformation. You completed your soul contract with this person. You learned what you needed to learn. And now you're moving into a completely new chapter that the past has no access to. Understanding why you're being shown all of this is crucial. This isn't about gloating. This isn't about feeling superior. This is about preparation and protection. You needed to see behind the curtain. You needed to understand what's brewing. You needed to know that opposition is coming, so you can stand firm when it arrives. The universe doesn't show you the enemy's hand to make you afraid. The universe shows you so you can move with confidence, so you can walk into your future with eyes wide open, so you can spot the traps before they're sprung, so you can protect your peace before it's threatened. But you're ready now. You see it coming. You understand the desperation driving it, and you know that no matter what gets thrown at you, your foundation is solid, your boundaries are strong, your clarity is sharp, and your peace is protected. Your life is sweet now, not temporarily, not as a rebound from pain, but genuinely, deeply, authentically sweet. And it's getting sweeter because you're getting stronger. Every morning you wake up without walking on eggshells. Every day you move through without managing someone else's emotions. Every evening you end without questioning your worth. This is your new normal, and it's beautiful, and people see it. The community sees it. The elders see it. Even your ex sees it, though admitting it is painful. You're glowing with the kind of light that only comes from doing deep inner work. You're moving with the kind of confidence that only comes from truly knowing yourself. You're speaking with the kind of clarity that only comes from complete honesty with yourself. What's beautiful about this situation is how the community has become both witness and protector. They're not just observing your transformation, they're actively celebrating it, and in doing so, they're creating a protective shield around you that your ex can't penetrate. Every conversation they have about your growth strengthens your position. Every observation they make about your peace validates your choice. Every comparison they draw between who you were and who you've become documents your journey in a way that can't be denied or rewritten. And when your ex tries to spread a different narrative, the community isn't buying it. When attempts to paint you as the villain happen, people who've witnessed your journey push back. When efforts to gain sympathy by playing victim occur, the elders redirect with truth. The community has seen both sides, and they've reached their conclusion. Let this final truth settle into your spirit, chosen one. The community isn't talking about you because of drama or scandal. They're talking about you because your transformation is that remarkable, because what you've accomplished is that inspiring, because who you've become is that noteworthy. You took a painful ending and turned it into a powerful beginning. You took betrayal and transformed it into boundaries. You took heartbreak and alchemized it into healing. You took a closed door and built an entirely new house. This is the kind of story that gets told. This is the kind of journey that gets celebrated. This is the kind of victory that gives others hope. And your ex is learning that being the subject of cautionary tales is far less pleasant than being the subject of testimonials. That being known as the one who fumbled is far less comfortable than being known as the one who flourished. that having elders shake their heads in disappointment is far more painful than having them nod in approval. You are not alone in this, chosen one. You have witnesses, you have support, you have a community that values truth and authenticity, and you have the universe itself orchestrating your protection and your elevation. The conversations are happening, your ex is hearing them, and you're ready for whatever comes next, because you've done the work, you've built the foundation, you've claimed your power, and nothing can take that away from you. This is your time, this is your season, this is your harvest, and everyone's talking about it, because it's absolutely worth talking about. Stand in that truth, own that power, protect that peace, and watch how the universe continues to clear your path and elevate your life. The community is talking, and they're saying you made the absolute right choice. Let that be the final word.